people sometimes forget that they're going to sometimes get called on to do a speech at some given time. It's easy to sort of say, here, look, I don't really need to do public speaking because I don't really do public speaking generally. But when you have that moment where you're asked to do a demo or give a presentation or give a speech at your sister's wedding, it's not like you can develop those skills overnight, but sometimes you'll get called on spontaneously to get up and give a presentation in front of people. I've honestly had that happen to me. Um, and you're going to want to have access to those skills in that moment. And you're also going to be somebody who wants to not shy away from opportunities to get in front of an audience when those come up at work or in your personal life, and having regular practice of those skills. I mean, even if I'm not attending Toastmasters, I really do value public speaking skills. And I assure you, I wouldn't be making, even though it only takes me about 20 minutes a month or 20 minutes a month to practice my own skills. I assure you, I wouldn't be spending that time doing it if I didn't think it was worthwhile.
Welcome to Evolving in Toastmasters. I'm your host, Nick, and I'm here with Farhan, who I met through Toastmasters at the Susquehanna Club. He was introduced by a friend who was a member of the club, and Farhan joined the club. So, Farhan, tell us where were you working at the time when we met? What were you doing?
Sure. I was an engineer. You and I were working at a military base. It was about a half hour north of Baltimore, Aberdeen Proving Ground, and I was an RF test engineer.
All right, yeah, that's right. We were working on a similar project at the time, in a group. Oscar Zalamia, of course,
Hmm.
the legendary
Yeah.
Toastmaster who drugged me and probably was involved in getting you and Ben. Ben was the other guy that brought you. Uh,
Hmm.
it was a good group that we had there.
I will state for the record that I had joined Toastmasters prior to that. My brother had been offered extra credit if he attended a Toastmasters meeting. He was going to night school at the time. So he invited me to come with him, and I actually attended a club, the Freehold Frasers Club, and I attended that briefly. I think I actually joined the club and was there for maybe 3 to 6 months or something like that. But I really got active when I joined the Susquehanna Toastmasters with you, Ben, and Oscar Zalamia.
Right, you had already been introduced to Toastmasters. That the Freehold Club is up there in New Jersey, and
Yes, yep.
so you were up there before the BRAC,
I
right?
was up there before the BRAC. Yes, yep. That was a great club. A lot of great people there, a lot of good energy, just a fun club to go to. But Susquehanna Club, which you and I were a part of, was also kind of a notable club because I believe we produced a national champion in that club.
That's right, 1986 or something like that.
1986.
Yeah,
Okay.
the Susquehanna Club was over 50 years old.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, we had to close it this past year.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's sad news, sad news.
You merged the club with the Fort
Yeah,
Mont
yeah,
Masters.
yeah, we were down to 4 members. So it was not sustainable anymore. So we just
Okay.
moved everybody over to Fort Monmouth. I'm actually only in one club now. So
Oh wow.
yeah, we had to close another club that I was in too. It's just
Okay.
been a rough year for Toastmasters with
I see.
kind of affecting um, how we meet. So we've been meeting
Hmm.
virtually like this, and it's kind of affected, people that like to be in person. They just didn't enjoy the virtual platform, so a lot of people left. Um, we switched education programs to this
Oh
online
real.
program. Yeah, we're not doing the manuals anymore. Uh,
Oh really?
yeah, so that turned a lot of people off. A lot of the older, longer seasoned Toastmasters didn't like that program, so
I see.
they left as well. And So it's just been hard to hold on to people.
Okay.
Anyways, that was all the sad bad news. Now let's get to some good news. Before we get to the Toastmasters part of the interview, where we talk about your experiences and stuff, I wanted to have a little fun getting to know our guests. This will be just like table topics. You won't have a time though. No, there won't be any timer, no cards. You won't
All
have to
right.
wait for the red light coming on. No default. You can talk as much as you want about each question. The idea is, we're just trying to generate some interest from our viewers in your background, as well as, so we can connect some dots between your experience and your background, and then also, have a little fun. So when we get to the harder part of the interview, that we're all smiles. All right. So let's start with an easy one. What was the best concert of your life?
Oh, okay. Well, I've gone to two great concerts in my life. Um, so one of them was Weezer. Um, I was not crazy about Weezer since after the Pinkerton album, honestly. Um, however, uh, I went to their concert. It was in Atlantic City, might have been around 2010. Just an unbelievable concert. Like everything after Pinkerton, I kind of thought was maybe, um, you know, not of the quality that they had prior to the turn of the millennium. But they played everything like they meant it. It was unbelievable. That's one, and then the second one, really briefly, is another band. They're called Via Audio, a small indie band. I don't even think they're together anymore. My friend and I went down to Philadelphia to go see um, a different band. Via Audio opened up for them. They had this album, Animal Lore, that just came out with. It was just an unbelievable album, and I don't know if I've ever seen a band play their music so well. It was just fantastic. So two great concerts that I've been to.
Awesome. Weezer was one of the first albums that I bought when I
Oh
was in
yeah,
middle school. They had the Blue Album.
the Blue Album.
And, they're a garage band. It had that sound. They were just out there playing their music, having fun.
Sure.
And then Pinkerton kind of changed the mood a little bit.
Yeah.
Kind of after that, one of the guys left. They got a new guy. So when the Green Album came out, it was more they were moving towards more of a mainstream sound, less of that garage band.
Okay.
Still having the same kind of tune, but and still having a lot of fun with the music. But it wasn't the same garage band that Blue Album was built with,
I hear you.
Great band. I really like them. I got a bunch of their albums.
Okay.
I haven't seen them though. I'm jealous.
Oh, oh, they're notoriously good on tour, so I would recommend them. At
Yeah,
least the my friend's account as well as mine.
very cool. Yeah, I'd seen it- my favorite concerts have always been the indie more in yeah lesser known bands like local.
Lesser known bands.
We did one up in Albany where I went to school. It was a band my little brother was following, and they're like a metal band, and we were just in this packed room. Uh, I don't know, like 400 square feet.
Wow.
People standing
Unbelievable.
there 'cause it was just a bar, and their stage was half of the room, and
Uh-huh.
like up against the speakers, it was loud as heck, and they were jumping off the platforms, and they were just banging out. It was awesome. So much,
Sounds awesome.
but yeah, I definitely agree. Those lesser known bands they can be a lot of fun and have great sound. All right, so let's do another one. I know you're into sports. I know you follow football. So let's talk about what's your favorite sports team? What are you most passionate about for sports?
All right. So my favorite sports team is actually It's tricky for me to say, honestly. I'm going to say right now, it's the Buffalo Bills, and here's why. Okay. Well, first of all, I've been a Buffalo Bills fan since 1991, since I was like 1989, probably. My family moved from India. My parents moved from India to Buffalo. We kind of settled there, so we became Bills fans. Now, I'm actually a bigger Mets fan. I'm a bigger baseball fan. Now, right now, the Mets are on this ridiculous spending spree. They spent $350 million on their payroll. There are no salary caps in baseball. And so their owner, Steve Cohen's really rich. And I know he loves baseball and he wants to put a great baseball team out there for everybody to enjoy. And I respect that. But I don't like how baseball's when how good a team is a kind of like a function of how rich a team's owner is. So I'm kind of I'm boycotting the Mets this year. And so right now, technically, the Bills are my favorite team at the moment, but truly, I'm really more of a Mets fan.
All right, very cool. Yeah, I agree. I can't really follow baseball because of the spending. Um,
Okay.
you there's only so many teams that can really compete, and then sometimes a team will pop off a year and they'll have a great year, but then
Hmm.
other teams will come along and just buy all their players, and then they
I
have
agree. Yeah, Oakland A's are a great example where they'll have great runs, do really well, and it just feels like some years they have trouble competing with some of the bigger teams out there.
yeah, the salary cap for football and the other sports definitely even the playing field. You get other teams in the playoffs. There's a lot more what's the word?
Parity?
Parity, that's the word.
Word, yeah, yeah, no, better parity.
Yeah. So yeah, it gives all the fans hope.
It does. Yeah, no, any given Sunday,
Yeah. So the Bills, they had some great runs, 89 to what 90 94, and then they kind of petered out and now they're back. So that
Yeah, I agree. It's been a long, it's come up, we've come a long way, baby. We went from like 2000 to 2018 without a playoff appearance, something like that. And so it's not easy being a Bills fan. It's not easy being a Mets fan, but
you're
it
preaching to the choir as a Jets fan. Hopefully
say
we'll give
again.
it a run. Hopefully I'm a Jets fan, so hopefully we'll give the Bills a run this year with Aaron Rodgers at the
As a Jets fan, you know my pain. You know my pain, Nick.
yes, of course.
You know my pain worse than I know my pain.
Yeah.
I respect that. Nobody respects fans like of the underdog teams like I do. Trust me, I know the pain. I'm a Knicks fan too. I don't follow them because they've been so bad for so long.
All right. Now I'll get a little bit more serious with this question, but still have a little fun.
All
Um,
right.
you've written your autobiography.
Okay.
What do you title it?
All right. I've written my autobiography. What do I title it? Yeah. Well, if I were to title it to this day, I would say um, How to Lead a Happy Life. That might be a good one. Uh,
Nice.
I would, I hope people hope one day to aspire to sort of, be somebody who really kind of sets the example and does the right thing and inspires others. So I would also love for it to sort of one day be something where it's sort of inspirational to others.
Very cool. Yeah. Uh, I'd say that's a noble cause. That's a great title. I like it. I'm not going to steal it, but I'm going to have a similar theme for my book. Um,
You could title
you got to
yours "How to
start
Be a."
writing. You got to start writing.
You could title yours "How to Be a Great Friend." That would be a good one for you, Nick.
Very cool. Yeah, I'm always trying to help people. So,
You are always trying to help people. I know that.
all right. One more question here before we move on. All right. So, talking about your life, what is the proudest moment of your life so far?
Proudest moment of my life so far. All right. Well, I was kind of saving this thought for maybe some of our Toastmasters conversation, but one time I had been asked to give a speech at my sister's wedding. And so my brother and I were actually asked to give a speech at her wedding. I was going to do the opening of the speech. My brother was going to give the middle portion, and I was going to do the end. My part was going to be 5 minutes. So I wrote my portion of the speech and practiced it. It was 2015, and I wasn't a member of the Toastmasters Club at that point. I had been on a bit of a hiatus, but I was part of the Susquehanna Toastmasters prior to that and after that as well. I talked to you and the Susquehanna Toastmasters, and you guys offered generously to let me just come in and give practice my speech there, if you remember.
Yep.
So you gave me some feedback, which I appreciated. So I basically practiced my speech whenever I had a free moment, and the the wedding was at the Grand Canyon, and I probably practiced on the plane. I gave myself 6 hours on the day of the wedding to practice, but I was sort of like the go-to person at the wedding, so I was constantly involved with helping people and answering questions, and so I ended up with only like 1 hour to practice. However, I had rehearsed a ton, and my speech was only 5 minutes. My part of the speech was only 5 minutes. So even though, so I still had an hour to practice. I went through it twice, and thanks to my, very much in part to my Toastmasters skills, after giving it twice, which only took me 10 minutes of that hour, I knew I had it done. But despite feeling like I had my speech down, I still spent as much time as I had to rehearse it. Even after the reception started, I was there sitting at my table and just continually rehearsing it. So, my brother-in-law's friends gave a speech just prior to mine. So when I watched them, you can really see the difference between people who are like really well versed with public speaking and people who aren't. And so I saw them talking up there, and it was sort of like felt like they weren't really talking to anybody, that they were just kind of up there and reading something, and it didn't feel like they were really connecting with anybody. People were in the audience were having conversations with themselves, not really paying attention to what was going on stage. Toastmasters had taught me that it was important to memorize my opening and closing. So when it was time for me to give my speech, I delivered it very professionally. As soon as you start, when you have a professional sounding speech and you are really prepared, people stop talking, and everybody stopped talking as soon as I started giving my speech. I think people get the sense when somebody's giving a thoughtful speech that's really written with an audience in mind. So I gave my opening for my speech, which was, just a short bit. My brother gave his portion of the speech, which was, 3 or 4 minutes. And then I gave the end of the speech. My brother gave his portion. It didn't seem to go as well as he hoped. And I think he wished he prepared more. So I think that that's something else that Toastmasters kind of it really gives you a sense of how much work it takes to give a good speech. I think we all think that we're going to go up there, just wing it, and give this amazing speech. And I'm sure for some people they can do that, but that's probably very, very rare. So, I really prepared. I gave the final portion of the speech, and it really went as well as I could hope. My sister and brother-in-law really seemed to love the speech, and they gave me a hug after it was over. The speech was really sincere, so I think that they really appreciated it. I received a lot of good feedback, and truthfully, in those moments, you're in front of, your closest friends and family, and it's just a great time to really tell people how you feel about, the the people getting married, and to thank everybody for this wedding was at the Grand Canyon. So to thank everybody for coming all this way to celebrate that wedding, to really let your in-laws know that you value them and how you're grateful that they're going to be a part of your family, assuming you feel that way. Some people aren't crazy about their in-laws, let's be real. But it felt great for the rest of the night, and it was just a great memory for me. So that was a great moment of my life.
All right, yeah, you certainly comes off when you talk about it. You can
Yeah.
hear your passion about it, your excitement to talk about it, and then I like the lessons learned there.
Yes. Yeah.
Being prepared uh, is certainly helps you whenever you're in a public speaking situation.
Hmm.
I think it's one of the most important things. And even if you're speaking impromptu, you can be somewhat prepared, not necessarily knowing what you're going to say, but knowing how to structure a speech and how to deliver something, understanding what words to emphasize and how to emphasize them, how to
Yeah.
arrange a joke, even if you're improvising a joke, how to arrange it so you're
Hmm.
punctuating the right part of it to make it stand out and hit that punch word.
Hmm.
Um, but I think the most important thing is you're recognizing that you only get so many of these public speaking opportunities to really let your emotions, your feelings out there for how you feel about your family members, um, how you feel about those loved ones. You only get so many of those public opportunities, and to take advantage of it, to be prepared when you get up there, not just take two drinks and all right, let's go wing this. And you know, you prepare, you're going to give them something unique, something a great experience, and something that they can recognize as truly sincere.
I
Um,
agree. And
so
it also helps make it a great wedding, because when you have moments like that, people remember them, and it really just brings this great sense of pleasantness to a wedding where there's just so much beauty in terms of uh, being able to really express your feelings in a well thought out, very nuanced, very thoughtful, considerate way that makes everybody feel good.
all right, very cool. Now, we already transitioned to Toast now, which is kind of where I was expecting that to go when I picked that question.
Mhm,
Anyways, so first, when you joined Toastmasters,
mhm.
do you remember? Do you remember what exactly brought you to the meeting? Like, what was going on in your life? Specifically. You had the speech that you were going to prepare, but um, talk about how you felt before you attended the Toastmasters meeting, how you felt after.
Okay, so that's a good question. So initially, as I mentioned, my brother was going to night school and he was receiving extra credit for going to Toastmasters. He invited me to it. And, honestly, Toastmasters was something I was interested in. Sometimes it just takes somebody kind of inviting you or kind of dragging you out, um, to kind of get you there. Um, I think something that is important for, to kind of identify is that, my preconceived notion about Toastmasters was that it was going to be all these type A aggressive people who wanted to be the CEO of a company. And, they were just maybe people who were very successful, but maybe not people who, would be the first people you wanted to make friends with. And when I went to Toastmasters, um, you know, I would say that was certainly not the case. I would say practically nobody fit that description. And, even the one person who I might say fit that description, I liked that person. So um,
It was me, wasn't it?
my, my my thought process,
I'm kidding.
That was my thought process going into Toastmasters. Um, and I obviously liked it. I think Toastmasters does a great thing where they really invite and encourage people to speak their first time coming to a Toastmasters meeting, but they don't force anybody to speak, as far as I'm aware. I don't believe that we've ever done that at any of the meetings that I've attended. So um, I felt like going to Toastmasters. I don't remember the first meeting I went to super incredibly well, but I'm sure it left a positive taste in my mouth. I remember that Freehold Frasers Club was a great club, had some great members of it. I remember a guy named Eric Warsaw, a very likable guy. I think he might have been um, one of the officers at the meeting at the time. I think a guy named John Zelensky was there as well. Again, so many people who I met, who I liked, who I took to. So it was a pleasant experience. So obviously, leaving the Toastmasters meeting, I obviously liked it. And um, I obviously liked it. And so that's why I stayed with Toastmasters, even for as long as I did.
All right. So when you joined Toastmasters, was there something that you wanted to get out of it? To a specific skill or goal that you were looking to accomplish beyond being able to just deliver that speech?
Um, you know, I don't know. I think that I was honestly mostly just focused on public speaking. I really didn't think of it in terms of other things. However, um, looking back, I think Toastmasters can be a really good way. I know they offer a lot of leadership training, and I never really went and did the leadership track there, so I can't comment on that. But I do feel like you do make good friendships out of it. You know, I'm grateful for our friendship, Nick. And again, as I mentioned, I meant it when I said I've met so many good people there. If you're looking for just a good group of people, I'm speaking anecdotally, but try a Toastmasters club. I also think that you should kind of go and if you are looking to maybe sort of network into a business, that picking a Toastmasters club, sometimes a specific business might actually have a Toastmasters club within it. And that's just a fantastic way to network into that company. If you want to get to know people like a big tech company like Meta or Google or Samsung, pick a Toastmasters club that's near um, or inside one of these businesses. And, these people are, a lot of them are high achievers. They're well-rounded people interested in learning and improving. It's not at all, you know, um, out of the ordinary for them to be attending a local club that's near their business.
Uh, yeah, there's lots of what we call corporate clubs. That so the corporation will sponsor the clubs if it's a nationwide club or international club. So it'll have um, clubs at different locations. And then of course there's the community clubs where the community just they meet in the evenings, or our Susquehanna club, they meet at lunchtime at the Aberdeen Proving Grounds. Kind of
Yes.
like a corporate club for the proving grounds, where it's not necessarily closed, but you kind of got to be on base to attend. Because if you're not on base, it's just going to take you an extra 15, 20 minutes to get there. And at lunchtime, you don't usually have that amount of time. So we've had some people visit from outside, but it's kind of like that environment where it's a corporate club and you're going to meet people that might be in the same uh industry, or uh the same field of work that you're in, but just a different directorate or uh, a different organization. So you can use that to network. Yeah, that's a great point to make out of it. The new education program, Pathways, is actually built with more leadership in mind. Um, if you look at the paths, there's 11 of them, and only 4 of them are really focused on public speaking only. The other ones are all leadership based when you get to higher levels,
I see.
towards the end of the path. What we're doing right here, evolving in Toastmasters, is a level 4. There's 5 levels. Is a level 4 project. Create a podcast.
Oh, okay. Oh,
So
I see.
this is for Toastmasters in a way, but it's also for all Toastmasters, because we're gonna put this out there. We're gonna say,
Mhm.
hey, this is information that can help you as a individual, as a Toastmaster, as a club, as a leader. It's gonna all the stuff that we're gonna pull from this is gonna be helpful to anybody that's looking to improve themselves. And specifically, some of the stuff you said about um, being prepared when you come up with those once in a lifetime opportunities to
Yes.
be prepared, deliver that unique
Hmm.
experience. One of the things I like to do is go visit other clubs. Um, there's a new one that just formed in Edgewood, and I went down there and met a bunch of new people, and I'm gonna go visit them again. They're meeting in person, which is great. So you can actually physically talk to the people and get to know them. Um,
Is Fort Monmouth a virtual club?
we're doing the first meeting virtual, and then the second meeting in the month we're doing a hybrid. So some people will be online and the rest of us will be.
Oh, okay. I see.
There's a group in Edgewood that started to join us, and so there was like 8 people in their room, and we had 4 in ours,
I see.
and then we had 2 or 3 other people online.
Okay.
So it's like hybrid is definitely gonna gonna be something we're gonna have to stick with for a while, because we have some people that are still just stuck at home. Um, Either unless they decide to, go to another club, or and then this Edgewood group, if they decide, all right, we're gonna form a new club over here, then then we'd be, or if they're gonna drive all the way to Aberdeen for the meetings, but otherwise we're stuck with some virtual element for a while. But we're trying to do more in person, trying to get us in person more. Um, it's just, how many people are on base for us to do that.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. So um, we kind of touched on this. I kind of wanted to learn some of the lessons that you learned in Toastmasters, and how do you apply them today?
Okay. So I think that I've learned that, to remember that image counts. One thing that you learn in Toastmasters is if you're nervous or anything like that, um, that you actually might, even though I think that sometimes we feel good when we acknowledge those things, sometimes it's better not to. And just, just some food for thought. I don't want to discourage anybody from being themselves or being, um, not honest or anything like that. Um, but sometimes, keep in mind how you come across, because learning those skills can make you a more effective public speaker. If you're nervous, you might not want to say anything because it's just going to draw attention to it. You kind of uh, respond to your audience. If your audience is kind of noticing those things and not focusing on what you're saying, it can make your public speaking more challenging. Yeah, just something to think about, especially for people who are more veteran public speakers, more advanced public speakers. They're kind of getting more into that nitty gritty. Yeah, I think thinking about your communication skills in terms of body language, in terms of vocal variety, in terms of facial expression, these are things that you can bring into your everyday when you're having a conversation with a friend, or you're getting up in front of an audience and speaking, or you're at a meeting. All of these things can really play into one another. You really kind of get this ability to take your communication skills a little bit further so that you can communicate more effectively using some skills that you learn in Toastmasters.
Right. Yeah, one of the things that we focus on is, you're building confidence. A lot of people, when they come in, they might have a fear of public speaking. They're
Hmm.
intimidated by that platform. They don't know anybody in the audience, so they get nervous. Um, they might not have a strong, uh, let's say, passion or excitement behind what they're going to talk about, and
Hmm.
that can really affect how you deliver something. Um,
Sure.
so what I always say is always talk about something you know well and something that you're passionate about, because those are the
Hmm.
things that you're gonna just like blurt out, and you're gonna be able to run with. Uh, you're gonna you're gonna speak confidently about it, and you're gonna be excited, and you're gonna put that excitement in other people. I
Sure. Yeah.
That's one of the most important things that you do that you can do when you're public speaking is deliver your message. And you're going to deliver your message if you can deliver that excitement to somebody else. But if you're not confident in your material, not confident in what you have to say, it's going to show, and people are going to turn off. They're not going to listen. Um, they're going to play on their phone. They're going to do something else.
Right. Exactly.
You know, um, or they might just wait for their opportunity to say something, where they don't take in anything that you have to say, and they're just waiting for their opportunity. And you see a lot of that out there. Um, but if you can practice and you can develop that confidence, and you can develop, you want to be authentic. You don't want it to to play a part that isn't you. And you mentioned that earlier. Image is important, and you got to know your image, who you are, and you want to use that when you speak. You don't want to, let's just say, role play and pretend to be something, because that's going to show too. You can only run so far with a fake image. So you want to be authentic and be true to yourself. And so it takes practice, preparation, build that confidence, get comfortable outside your comfort zone. And if your comfort zone is not that stage, then you need to get on it and practice there. That's all yeah.
Mhm.
All right. We're running just on time here. I got a couple more questions to get through. Um, so yeah, two more. Okay. So we talked about your experience in Toastmasters. Um, do you still do Toastmasters? I know you moved out to Colorado, and you're working on something new now. Um, Tell us, have you joined a Toastmasters club out there? Visited one? Have you done any public speaking while you're out there? Um, and yeah, do you still do Toastmasters?
So I do not do Toastmasters at the moment. Toastmasters is great at teaching you, fundamentals and being a part of your continuous journey that gets you to the highest echelons of public speaking. But for me, somebody who always feels time strapped, sometimes it can be a challenge making time for the club. Now, I think that for beginners, I think it's really important to go and do a Toastmasters club. That's my personal take. I've learned some fundamentals through Toastmasters that um, uh, I really value. And, when I was talking about speaking at my sister's wedding earlier, those fundamentals were very important. Um, so I've been in Toastmasters, let's say on and off for let's say 5 years or something along those lines. At this point, um, while the critical feedback that you get at Toastmasters clubs really is helpful, um, I can also practice public speaking on my own. I can do it in about 20 minutes. Sometimes I'll do it with my roommate, and I'll just speak, and he can give me feedback on what he thinks he liked or what he disagrees with. Um, uh, so just being able to speak in 20 minutes on my own instead of going to a club where I might spend 2+ hours, if it's in a club that's an evening club, it can be difficult for me to take that time. And it can be difficult to do a club because they encourage regular attendance. So making that much time can be a bit of a challenge for some people.
All right, we can understand that. Um, so you're making time for yourself to practice your public speaking.
Right. Yes.
Where might you be using that? Are you using that in your job? Are you? Yeah, I know lots of people are interviewing for jobs, and you're looking to move and change careers. So you may use it in that sense as well. So where are you using those skills now?
Yeah, that's a good question. They can come in handy in interviewing. In the past, it's come in handy for me when I've given presentations at work, or sometimes I've been asked to, do demos of our automated test equipment. So I will use those public speaking skills there. I've also been asked to do demos of smart home products that I've worked on. I think that one of the challenges for keeping people in Toastmasters is that people um, sometimes forget that they're going to sometimes get called on to do a speech at some given time. It's easy to sort of say, here, look, I don't really need to do public speaking because I don't really do public speaking generally. But when you have that moment where you're asked to do a demo or give a presentation or give a speech at your sister's wedding, it's not like you can develop those skills overnight. It's you can practice, and you can maybe give a good speech or a good presentation or a good demo, truthfully. And maybe you don't need to attend a club regularly, but sometimes you'll get called on spontaneously to get up and give a presentation in front of people. I've honestly had that happen to me. And one of the members of Toastmasters that I worked with, his name was Ken. He was at the Freehold Frasers Club. He had talked about how he had been called spontaneously to give a speech in front of people. And you're going to want to have access to those skills in that moment. And you're also going to be somebody who wants to not shy away from opportunities to get in front of an audience when those come up at work or in your personal life, and having regular practice of those skills. I mean, even if I'm not attending Toastmasters, I really do value public speaking skills. And I assure you, I wouldn't be making, even though it only takes me about 20 minutes a month or 20 minutes a month to practice my own skills. I assure you, I wouldn't be spending that time doing it if I didn't think it was worthwhile. And, if I've been, maybe one of the top public speakers, or maybe even the top public speaker at places I've worked at, it wouldn't surprise me because of those skills that I've developed from Toastmasters and even honed on my own.
And it shows, Farhan. It's been a lot of fun today, and you are certainly expressing yourself. It shows that those skills are nice and polished. You certainly exercise them, um, even without being in a club, which is awesome.
Mhm.
We say that public speaking, it's a muscle, and Toastmasters gives you the opportunity to exercise that muscle if you're not exercising it on your own. And sometimes you might need just a few extra reps to build up some strength to get you the confidence you need to get to the point where you can uh, utilize those skills outside of the club environment, and then continue to build on those outside of the club environment. Um,
Mhm.
so, uh, being in a Toastmasters club, it's certainly not a lifetime commitment. I'm one of the rare people that thinks that this is something that I need to keep doing. I felt when I joined Toastmasters, I had to immerse myself in it, or I wasn't going to get any better. So I joined. I attended 2 clubs, and I was going weekly. And then I joined a third club because I felt I needed that extra push to get that DTM. And, it worked for me. And I continue to do Toastmasters because coaching and leadership is something that I feel very strongly about. And I want to polish those skills as well. And what better place to do it, practice those skills, than developing other Toastmasters, other public speakers, other leaders, and bring people along and get them to advance their own careers. So that really keeps me in Toastmasters, is being able to just help other people. It's not necessarily about helping me, but I got to develop my own skills to help other people. So I'm constantly practicing. So to wrap this up, I want to thank Farhan. Great guest. He gave us some awesome answers, talked about being prepared when it comes time to do one of those really important public speaking opportunities, whether it's a wedding speech or a you're working on a demo, an opportunity to speak at work, something like that. You got to have some preparation, even if you're speaking impromptu. You can formulate a structure for your speech that helps you and helps you eliminate those ahs and ums. That's one thing.
That's true. Yeah, absolutely.
When I'm doing those impromptu speeches,
Hmm.
ahs and ums just pile up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's the time for options in
Yeah.
your.
So that's a skill that I'm still working on, because when I do a prepared speech, when I know every word I'm going to say, or at least have an idea of every word I'm going to say, I can knock those. I can cut those out of my speech. But when it comes to speaking off the cuff, it's just so easy to rattle them off.
Absolutely.
All right. So again, thank you, Farhan. Really enjoyed this interview, and looking forward to adding this to Evolving in Toastmasters. Um, and we're going to help some other Toastmasters with the content we built today.